This is 17-year-old Dante Wright, one of 6 teenage convicts showing no remorse in court. Today, Wright was sentenced for the shooting death of high school student Jordan Klee, to which he pleaded guilty to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit armed robbery, a felony firearm violation, and second-degree murder. During the sentencing, a family member made a victim impact statement on behalf of the victim's mother, who was too overwhelmed with emotions to speak.
I sincerely hope that whatever it was you wanted so badly that you felt the need to murder my son was worth the next at least 52 years of your continued existence. You won't get the luxury of raising your child because you took mine away.
However, Wright's demeanor during the statement was not what one might expect.
Your actions have led you to a prison cell, but have also created an empty cell that I live in every day. While you can still hope to be released one day, I'll never escape my help. You are still alive, but Jordan has no future. Thank you, Your Honor. We're done.
Wright and his attorney approached the podium.
Your Honor, my client wants to address the court.
Oh, of course. Yes, sir. Mr. Wright, what would you like to say?
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon, or I'll be Keon. I love my family.
That's all you got to say.
The teenage convict had the chance to express remorse to the court for their actions, but chose not to. The judge had the authority to reject the plea deal, but in this case, they accepted the sentencing agreement, which puts the convict behind bars for 25 to 52 years. This is the story of 20-year-old Austin Boone in Louisville, Kentucky, who is facing charges of speeding and possession of drug paraphernalia. Despite being prepped by his attorney, Boone chooses to act disrespectfully in court when faced with a tough question from Judge Stephanie Pierce Burke.
22 over in possession of drug paraphernalia on January 23rd.
He crumbles under the pressure.
For granted you told me you said guilty or not guilty.
Well, if you plead guilty, then I can give you the plea agreement that you made.
Yeah, that whatever the agreement was.
Okay.
Not liking his response, the bailiff brings Boone's sagging pants to Judge Burke's attention.
Yeah. Your pants need to be up when you're in a courtroom.
They are
They're
not.
Sir, up.
They're up. What?
He's got a belt on, Judge, and they hang around his...
They're up.
Okay, that's inappropriate. They need to be around your waist, not below your bottom.
While some people in the courtroom find the sagging pants crackdown amusing, Judge Burke does not.
Do you understand that you're in a court?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you do what the judge says, and that is pull your pants up around your waist.
What do you want me to do?
Pull your pants up. If you have to tighten your belt, you're going to be an adult when you come to court. Do you understand?
Yes, but right now I'm trying to leave court.
You're going to stay a lot longer than you'd like if you don't pull your pants up.
Ma'am, they are up. What do you want from me? They're up.
Have a seat. I instructed you to pull your pants up on a number of occasions and gave you the opportunity to do that. Instead, you wanted to argue about it and act a fool. When I put you in that box, that was to give you a few moments so that I could discuss that with you privately at the end of this docket.
However, rather than showing a more mature demeanor during his time in the jury box, Boone chose to act shockingly disrespectful by removing his pants and appearing in court wearing only athletic shorts.
That were underneath.
By removing your pants, it was extremely poor judgment. Okay, I'm holding you in contempt. I'm going to sentence you to 7 days to serve for direct contempt of court.
Despite his behavior, the judge still chose to honor his plea agreement for the original charges of speeding and possession of drug paraphernalia, requiring him to attend traffic school and pay $178 in fines. Continuing our coverage on teenage convicts behaving disrespectfully in court, we now turn to Berea, Ohio. During a probation hearing for criminal damaging, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and obstructing official business, 18-year-old William Demopoulos finds himself in hot water with Judge Chris Green. Demopoulos had already frustrated the judge by refusing to hand over his cell phone to a probation officer.
Give me that phone. What's in that phone you don't want us to find?
Nothing. I just didn't see no need for you guys to confiscate my phone and go through it. I mean,
and you play by your rules. You don't want to play by anybody else's rules.
When the judge hands the phone to a clerk, the defendant starts to retreat.
Come here. Hey. Come here.
No, man. No, man. This is not right, man. I'm telling you, it's not right. This system is so messed up.
Stand there. If you're gonna act up, give me an officer. Give me an officer.
Please,
next door.
please.
No.
It doesn't have to be like this.
I'm right now thinking about charging you with resistance.
Please, it doesn't have to be like this, John.
Stand there and stand like a man.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Then you're gonna go to jail today.
Sounds like this teen is willing to give up his freedom for a phone. It's not like they honor it. Getting nowhere, the defendant changes his story. 18-year-old William Demopoulos is attending a probation hearing for criminal damaging, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and obstructing official business. However, the hearing takes a chaotic turn when Demopoulos, already in hot water for refusing to hand over his cell phone to a probation officer,
Don't want to play by anybody's rules. You want to play by your own rules.
It's not my cell phone.
Whose cell phone is it?
It's my brother's.
Then why didn't you tell them that? I need him handcuffed, please.
continues to act disrespectfully and refuses to cooperate. In a sudden move, he jumps over the table, prompting deputies to tackle him to the floor.
The deputies tackle him to the floor.
What do you want me to do, man? Don't keep them so up, man, for real. Please stop, man. Why didn't that happen, man? But why, though, man? Why does it have to be like this, man? Really?
It's like this because you make it like this. My problem is I can't have someone on probation if they won't listen to their probation officer.
He has a problem. I know he has a problem.
Man, he's kind of like a little cat, though, ain't he?
Yeah, he's young. He's very athletic.
As a result of his shockingly disrespectful behavior in court, William Demopoulos has his probation revoked, and he is now facing charges for resisting arrest. The teenage convict has been sentenced to 40 days in jail, illustrating the severe consequences of acting inappropriately and disrespectfully in court.
You were supposed to be here last month. You did not appear. Why weren't you here?
My mom didn't show up. Somebody died in the family. There was no reason for me to be here.
Well, it's not an engraved invitation, son. It's a court order.
Clearly off to a rocky start between Watts and Judge Chris Green, but Watts seems comfortable handling the situation on his own.
Your attorney withdrew, so you'll have to hire an attorney?
I don't need an attorney.
You're a lawyer?
Nope.
Watts' remarks have already cost him dearly, and now he doubles down. He just swore at the judge.
Want to talk to me about me at bond with me? What do you want to tell me?
About what?
Bond?
Don't really give a to be honest with you.
It's going to cost you 30 days in the county jail for contempt. Cuff him if you got the cuffs. Hold on. It's $5,000 cash surety bond, subject to the temporary protection order. Swore at the judge. Can I give you a piece of advice?
What?
You can either make life easy or you can make life hard.
I already ruined my life.
That's 60. You want to go for 90? That's 90 more. That's 180. That's 306.
Come here and my life up. You.
Melvin, stop.
How many days you want to give me now? Are you sure counting?
Melvin,
Yeah, I'm at about a year right now in contempt, so.
Watts' mother and his sister attempt to intervene, but there is no stopping the foul-mouthed tyrant.
I don't care.
I don't give a you.
Melvin, stop.
Everybody. You.
Melvin,
Power.
Good.
Fight the power.
Good.
that's stupid. Melvin, stop. Stop it. You're not even getting in trouble. Melvin, Melvin, listen. You're going.
Who the you think telling me anything?
Just let him. Melvin.
Just let him do what you're not going to.
As a result of his disrespectful behavior in court, the teenage convict has his probation revoked by the judge and is subsequently charged with resisting arrest. The consequences of his actions are severe, as he is sentenced to spend 40 days behind bars. Shondell Jackson, a teenage convict, was found guilty of first-degree intentional homicide and robbery in the case of 21-year-old University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee student Nathan Potter. Potter was walking home when Jackson and 20-year-old Derek Thomas attempted to rob him, but Potter wasn't carrying any money. In a fit of rage, Jackson shot Potter, leading to his death. During the trial, Jackson showed no remorse or sorrow and even smiled. He was convicted of first-degree intentional homicide and robbery and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. Jackson has already served 12 years in jail, but at 31 years old, he shows no sign of remorse for his heinous crime.
It's cold-blooded murder. Cold-blooded murder, young man.
Michael's troubled history began early as he struggled to sleep, socialize, and control his impulses from day one. His mother even confessed to his regular acts of aggression towards her, and he even attacked another child at daycare. By the age of 11, his psychiatrist declared him a lost cause. At 17, he randomly murdered 2 Iowa mothers, Sherry Ann Ayers and Vicki Bowman Hall. Given Michael's lifelong mental state, his actions were predictably devoid of remorse. During his trial, he continually smirked and laughed. Michael is another example of a teenage convict showing no remorse in court. TJ Lane, a teenage convict who showed no remorse in court, perpetrated the horrific shooting at Chardon High School on February 27, 2012. Lane's demeanor during the trial indicated a complete lack of regret for randomly killing 3 students and injuring 3 others with a handgun. Despite being tried for 3 counts of murder, Lane's defense was baffling to the jury. He even wore a shirt reading "Killer" during the trial and treated the entire ordeal as a joke, smiling, cussing out the court, and flipping off the victims' families, knowing he was going to lose the case. TJ Lane is a prime example of a teenage convict reacting shockingly disrespectful in court.